Tyrese Haliburton's story is one of those rare modern basketball arcs that feel both impossibly improbable and yet undeniably inevitable. The kind that makes you think about destiny and timing, about the long shadows of doubt and the quiet simmering of talent that waits for the right moment to ignite. He is, in many ways, the embodiment of what the new era of basketball looks like. A point guard who sees the floor not just as a court, but as a canvas, who interprets spacing like a composer reads music, who senses rhythm like a dancer, who understands that leadership is not barked through volume, but earned through presence. From the moment he stepped into the NBA, there was something unmistakable about the way he approached the game. A mixture of joy, precision, creativity, and unselfishness that made him impossible to overlook. But to truly understand Tyrese Haliburton is to begin with the improbable parts of his journey. The parts that shaped him before the lights, before the accolades, before the world knew his name. Growing up, Haliburton was not the kind of prodigy whose legend preceded his arrival. He wasn't the towering phenom dominating national headlines, nor the AU superstar drawing scouts by the hundreds. He was something else entirely, a slow build, a deliberate evolution, a player who grew into greatness piece by piece, often overshadowed by flashier talents around him. His body was lanky, his frame unassuming, and for a long time he did not fit the traditional mold of a dominant guard. But what he did possess, even in those early years, was an abnormal feel for the game. Coaches would talk about his court vision like it was a gift he was born with. Teammates would say he always knew where they were going to be before they actually got there. He had an innate sense for flow, when to speed up, when to slow down, when to attack, when to pass. The kind of instincts you couldn't teach, but only polish. As he moved through high school, he wasn't the most recruited player in the country, and yet he never seemed discouraged by how overlooked he was. He was confident without arrogance, fiercely competitive without needing a chip on his shoulder, focused without being consumed by pressure. What he lacked in size and hype, he made up for in IQ and creativity. His coaches admired that he understood the game at a level far beyond his years. Not because he wanted attention, but because he loved learning the architecture of basketball. When Iowa State came into the picture, it felt like the perfect fit, a place where he could grow, where he could be trusted to lead, where he could be nurtured without the suffocating weight of unrealistic expectations. At Iowa State, everything clicked. He blossomed quickly, transforming from a solid recruit into a rising star, showing off that unique blend of unselfishness and swag that made his future so intriguing. He was the kind of player who could control a game without needing to dominate the box score. Every pass he made seemed to turn into an opportunity. Every shot he took carried impeccable timing. He developed a jumper that felt unorthodox and yet dangerously effective, a shot that seemed to break mechanics while still obeying geometry. The more he played, the more scouts realized they were witnessing someone different, someone whose impact was anchored not in one skill, but in the interconnectedness of every skill. He manipulated defenses with subtlety. He led by example. He cared about winning above all else. When the NBA draft came, and he slipped lower than many analysts expected, it became one of those misunderstood moments that later gets reevaluated as a blessing disguised as oversight. Sacramento gave him a home, and he gave them everything. From the moment he touched an NBA floor, he looked like he belonged, like he had already studied the league for years before stepping into it. The speed of the game didn't overwhelm him. The physicality didn't deter him. The spotlight didn't shake him. He was poised, calm, and decisive, controlling pace and possession with the maturity of a seasoned veteran. His passing was electric, not just accurate but imaginative, finding angles that seemed invisible to most players. And then there was the smile, the pure joy he played with, the lightness that made the intensity of competition feel beautiful. But then came the trade, the moment that changed everything. The moment that could have broken him, but instead became the catalyst for his transformation. When the Kings traded Haliburton to the Indiana Pacers, the basketball world shook in disbelief. Fans questioned the decision. Analysts criticized it. Even Haliburton himself felt the sting of shock. He had embraced Sacramento, poured his heart into the franchise, believed he was part of their future. And yet, in the cruel, businesslike nature of the sport, he found himself uprooted and sent to Indiana. But instead of bitterness, he chose evolution. Instead of shrinking, he expanded. In Indiana, Haliburton did not simply grow, he exploded. The Pacers handed him the keys, trusted him with direction, vision, and tempo, and he rewarded them with brilliance. His playmaking became legendary almost overnight, his assist numbers soaring, his scoring efficiency climbing, his leadership sharpening. He became one of the league's most dynamic offensive engines, a conductor of chaos who brought excitement and unpredictability to every possession. The Pacers became faster, more fluid, more joyful, the kind of team that felt alive in every transition, every pick and roll, every fast break. And at the center of this stylistic revolution was Haliburton, orchestrating movement like a maestro. The beauty of his game lies not only in his production, but in the way he produces it. He is the kind of point guard who elevates everyone around him. Bigs finish easier because he places the ball exactly where they want it. Shooters get cleaner looks because he manipulates defenses like clay. Role players feel valued because he never forgets their importance. His basketball intelligence is not just a personal asset, it becomes communal. His leadership is collaborative, inclusive, generous. He celebrates others, energizes others, empowers others. He plays with a rare mix of humility and excellence, the kind that draws people in and inspires belief. And then there is the scoring, the part of his game that keeps evolving, growing sharper, stronger, broader. His jumper, once questioned for its odd mechanics, has become a weapon. His floater is soft and controlled. His ability to hit threes off movement adds another layer of unpredictability. He attacks off the dribble with confidence, reading defenders with surgical precision. He doesn't rely on brute force. He relies on angles, timing, and intelligence. He doesn't need overwhelming speed to beat you. He beats you with rhythm. But perhaps the most compelling part of Haliburton's story is not just his skill, but his resilience. He has faced setbacks, injuries, doubts, trades, scrutiny, yet every time he responds with grace and growth. When he deals with adversity, he doesn't lash out or retreat. He recalibrates. He learns. He adapts. His mental toughness is rooted in balance, in emotional intelligence, in understanding the difference between control and acceptance. That maturity is what makes him a franchise cornerstone, not just his stats, but his presence. As he continues evolving, his impact stretches beyond numbers. He has become a symbol of modern leadership, an ambassador for unselfish basketball, a testament to patience and perseverance. Young players watch him and see that you don't have to be the loudest to be a leader. You don't have to be the flashiest to be effective. You don't have to chase the spotlight. Sometimes it finds you because your authenticity forces it to. Indiana has embraced him with open arms because they see what he represents: hope, identity, continuity, charisma. The Pacers are no longer just building a team. They are building a culture, and Haliburton is its foundation. He is the face of a new generation of players who prioritize the collective over the individual, who uplift without overshadowing, who shine without dimming others. He is a reminder that the beauty of basketball lies in synergy, in connection, in teamwork. Haliburton's future is bright, not in the vague, cliché way that often gets used for young stars, but in a tangible, visible way. You can see it in his trajectory, in his commitment to improvement, in his understanding of nuance, in his hunger for greatness. He is already one of the best passers in the league, already one of the most influential offensive creators, already one of the most beloved personalities. And yet, he has only scratched the surface of what he can become. His ceiling stretches higher than most players ever dare to dream. What makes him even more captivating is that he hasn't lost himself in the fame or frenzy. He remains grounded, joyful, connected to his roots. His interviews are thoughtful. His interactions with fans are genuine. His energy is infectious. He represents the best qualities of the new NBA: intelligence, humility, creativity, emotional awareness, and showmanship, all wrapped into one. And as his journey continues, the world watches with admiration. Every game feels like a continuation of a story that keeps unfolding, a story that inspires, surprises, and delights. Tyrese Haliburton isn't just playing basketball. He's reshaping the way people understand the role of a point guard. He's redefining what leadership looks like. He's proving that greatness doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers, then grows, then erupts into something undeniable. In the end, Tyrese Haliburton's legacy will not simply be measured by trophies or accolades, though those will surely come. It will be measured by the joy he brings to the game, the impact he has on teammates, the way he elevates everyone around him, the way he carries himself with grace and authenticity. He is a star whose brilliance does not blind but illuminates. A leader whose strength is not forceful but inspiring. A basketball mind whose vision expands far beyond the court. And as the future unfolds, one thing is certain. Tyrese Haliburton is not just a player to watch. He is a story to follow, a journey to cherish, a symbol of what it means to grow, adapt, and shine. His rise is a reminder that true greatness is not accidental. It is built, nurtured, and embodied. And as he continues shaping the landscape of the NBA, he does so with the same smile, the same joy, the same love for the game that has defined him from the beginning. A love that makes everything he touches feel brighter,